everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040, bringing to you another edition of the Wrestling Discussion Series. And December 26, 2002 marks 23 years ago that history was made on SmackDown when Team Angle was officially formed, when Paul Heyman introduced Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas and presented them as a gift to his client, Kurt Angle. And for today's special edition, I am going to be discussing the success and failures of Team Angle from December 2002 to June 2003. For my money, Team Angle are without a doubt the greatest collection of wrestling talent ever assembled in a group since the legendary Hart Foundation of 1997. So, Team Angle is comprised of Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, who won the 1996 Olympic Games. We've got Shelton Benjamin from the University of Minnesota, considered by many to be one of the greatest pure athletes of all time. And we've got Charlie Haas from the University of Seton Hall. Some pretty serious wrestling credentials in one group. So, the concept of Team Angle is a group of the best wrestlers in the world. Wrestling is the name of the game, as Kurt Angle would say. It's what they do best. And even though Team Angle had a very short run as a faction, what they were able to do and accomplish in that short time was impressive. So at one point, Team Angle, you had Kurt Angle as the WWE champion, and you had Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin as the WWE Tag Team champions. Pretty serious stuff, in my opinion. So the seeds for the formation of Team Angle can be traced back to Armageddon 2002. So Kurt Angle, with Brock Lesnar's help, defeated The Big Show to become WWE Champion. And it was a great moment. Kurt Angle captured the gold. He was able to defeat the 500-pound giant. And with Brock Lesnar's help, he was able to do the unthinkable. So, fast forward to the following week on SmackDown, Kurt Angle came out to a big pop. Everyone was happy that Kurt Angle was the WWE champion. But Kurt Angle's babyface run would be very short lived as he would quickly turn heel and announce Paul Heyman as his new agent. So Paul Heyman got on the mic and pretty much puts Kurt Angle over as the greatest athlete to ever grace WWE, and went as far as to say that my client Kurt Angle will fight anyone at any time and will defend his WWE title against anybody except Brock Lesnar. So, this was the start of an association between Kurt Angle and Paul Heyman. And at the time watching, it was a bit of a shock and it was a bit of a surprise because, you know, Kurt Angle just defeated the Big Show, who was managed by Paul Heyman, and now all of a sudden, Paul Heyman is managing Kurt Angle, but still retain the services of the Big Show. Very strange, but at the same time, intriguing. So later on in the show, Brock Lesnar came out, absolutely annihilated Kurt Angle, and F5'd him on the ring post, resulting in Kurt Angle's leg and knee getting damaged. And it was obvious that the build up to a Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle match was on. However, The following week on SmackDown, Paul Heyman announced that he had put together a contingency plan to make sure that Kurt Angle would be protected from Brock Lesnar. And he called this contingency plan Team Angle. And he introduced Shelton Benjamin from the University of Seton Hall and Shelton Benjamin from the University of Minnesota. Now, the University of Minnesota also featured another amateur wrestler who would go on to become a very big name himself, and that was, of course, Brock Lesnar. And at one time, Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin were actually teammates. So now Kurt Angle had his own group, and he also had two of the finest wrestlers in the world, and one of them knew Brock Lesnar very well. So this led to the official formation of Team Angle. Like I said, you get three of the best wrestlers in the world, you're going to get nothing but pure excellence. And that's exactly what we got. So as we headed into 2003, Haas and Benjamin quickly got into a feud with Chris Benoit and Edge, and they defeated them to become the number one contenders for the WWE Tag Team titles. And then the following week, they defeated Eddie and Chavo Guerrero to become the Tag Team champions. So now Team Angle had all the gold. Kurt Angle was the WWE champion. Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas were the WWE Tag Team champions. Now, of course, Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, before they won the tag team titles, they were pretty much like an insurance policy for Kurt Angle. They protected him and they would assist him, pretty much watching the champions back. And of course, they competed in the Royal Rumble 2003 match where they were both eliminated by Brock Lesnar. But as I mentioned already, they quickly redeemed themselves and won the WWE Tag Team titles. So the stage was set for WrestleMania 19. Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. But before we get to WrestleMania 19, we would get a six-man tag at No Way Out 2003. Team Angle versus Brock Lesnar, Chris Benoit, and Edge. But Edge would be taken out of the match due to an injury, and this would become a 2-on-3 handicap match. And this would give us a little taste of what we could expect to see from Lesnar and Angle. Lesnar and Benoit were able to defeat Team Angle, and this was the first and only time that Team Angle ever competed as a unit at a pay per view. So, heading into WrestleMania 19, Team Angle would do everything possible to make sure that Brock Lesnar wouldn't get his hands on Kurt Angle and his WWE title. So, this was an interesting stable because although officially you had Kurt Angle, Haas, and Benjamin, Big Show would occasionally assist them. Obviously, Paul Heyman managed these guys, but we never really saw them all in one group. So it was quite interesting that, Paul Heyman was managing all these guys, but we never actually saw them as one complete faction. So that was kind of interesting. So Brock Lesnar would take out Paul Heyman in a steel cage match. Haas and Benjamin would be banned from ringside. And of course, Kurt Angle's brother, Eric Angle, would be banned from ringside, and Paul Heyman. And Kurt Angle would pretty much have to go it alone. So Haas and Benjamin were able to retain their tag team titles at WrestleMania 19. Kurt Angle, unfortunately, would not be as lucky as he would lose the WWE title to Brock Lesnar, and he would have to leave to have neck surgery, which would keep him out for at least a couple of months. So without their leader, or as Angle would say, their quote unquote captain, Haas and Benjamin would have to go it alone. But I would have to say, during Kurt Angle's absence, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas really did an amazing job cementing themselves as one of the top tag teams on SmackDown. And Team Angle would begin a feud with Los Guerreros, and this would culminate in a tag team title match at Backlash 2003, where Haas and Benjamin were able to retain the tag team titles and defeated Los Guerreros as they dedicated their win to their captain, as we would see Haas and Benjamin walking around with a painting of Kurt Angle every single week. And then we would get a rematch for the tag team titles at Judgment Day 2003 with Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin defending the tag team titles against Eddie Guerrero and a partner of his choice, who turned out to be none other than Tajiri. And this would be contested in a ladder match. Now, I would say that the ladder match was one of Haas and Benjamin's best matches they ever had as a tag team. And I would go as far as to say that it was probably the best match of Judgment Day 2003, followed slowly by the stretcher match by Brock Lesnar versus The Big Show. But I think the tag team title match was probably a little bit better. And this match really helped cement Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas as one of the top teams on SmackDown and certainly in WWE history. So then, fast forward to June, Kurt Angle would make his return to SmackDown as a babyface, and he would call out his teammates and pretty much fire both of them from Team Angle. And that was pretty much it. You know, what started out so strong ended up just disbanding just as fast, which is a shame, really, because a lot of people have said this, and I have said this too, that I really felt that Team Angle deserved a much longer run as a faction and certainly have that longevity that Evolution had on Raw, because Evolution on Raw lasted years. I think Evolution, if you put the whole thing together, lasted well over 3 years. You know, if you put it all together, from the time Flair and Triple H got together to the time it all finished completely with Flair and Triple H at the end. So yeah, altogether, 3 years. But when you look at Team Angle and how long their run was, from December 2002 to June 2003. That's 6 months, which I suppose ain't bad, but it certainly ain't good either. It's not a very long run as a faction. Personally, for me, I think Team Angle should have lasted at least 2 years. Maybe they could have added more members, perhaps. I'm sure there's lots of good wrestlers they could have called up to hook up with these guys. And who knows, maybe they could have had an interpromotional feud against Evolution, Team Angle versus Evolution. That would have been a really good match. Maybe they could have had that at Survivor Series, perhaps, or a random pay per view. Who knows? Maybe Evolution could have come to SmackDown, or maybe Team Angle could have come to Raw, could have done something like that. But you look at how long Evolution's run was compared to Team Angle's. Team Angle's wasn't very long. But that is really, for me, the only failure of Team Angle's run is that it didn't last long and it had so much potential. You've got three of the best wrestlers in the world. I mean, look at the Heart Foundation's run in '97. They lasted from March 1987 to November 1987. That's 8 months. That's 2 months longer than Team Angle's run was. And, I think I speak for everyone when I say this. I think breaking up Team Angle was not a good idea. I think they broke them up far too early. I think they had a lot more gas in the tank, and I definitely think they deserved a longer run, maybe 2 years at least. Yes, I know Kurt Angle went on to have a epic run as a babyface in 2003 to 2004. And I know that Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas had an excellent run as the world's greatest tag team. But honestly, they should not have split these guys up. And as I said earlier, there was definitely room for expansion. Team Angle could have been a modern Heart Foundation if booked right. Imagine that. They could have gone after the United States title, they could have gone after the Cruiserweight title. You know, there's so much potential for storytelling, and they could have continued feuding with Brock Lesnar. I'm quite surprised Undertaker didn't mix up with Team Angle. That could have been a lot of fun. Imagine Big Evil Undertaker facing Team Angle. That would have been excellent. Could have had a longer feud with Los Guerreros. Maybe a longer feud with Rey Mysterio, a tag partner of his choosing. There's so much potential. Edge should have had a longer feud. He should have come back, revealed that Team Angle were the ones who took him out, could have feuded with them. There's so many things they could have done with these guys. And then after that, they split up the world's greatest tag team. Shelton Benjamin went to Raw and Charlie Haas stayed on SmackDown. Yeah, Charlie Haas had a not a bad run with Rico. Shelton Benjamin got off to a great start on Raw. He was mixing it up with Triple H and Evolution, but yeah, they should not have split up Team Angle. In my opinion, they should have kept these guys together a bit longer. Maybe Angle could have turned on them, or they could have turned on him, or turned on one of their own members. They could have done lots of different cool things, but what can I say, really? It is what it is. I don't make these decisions. I don't book these things, but I tell you something, if I was booking, I would have given these guys a much longer run. And I don't think we ever got a reunion either. I mean, I know these guys met each other out of WWE. I think there was a picture of the three of them at a autograph signing or a Comic Con or something like that. And I just sat there and thought, oh man, can you imagine if we had got a Team Angle reunion? I mean, we never even got that in TNA. One of the best and most short lived factions. Yeah, it's just sad, really. But in terms of the success and failures of Team Angle, I'm going to say it was a complete success. It really was. But the only failure is it should have had a longer run. My God. I love these guys. Great team. Everyone could go. There was no weak link whatsoever. Everyone could wrestle. Everyone had a good look. And these guys could mix it up with anyone. As far as promo work, Angle's the best talker by a landslide. Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, great in the ring, but I wouldn't say they're the best talkers. I think Haas is probably a slightly better talker than Benjamin, but not much. I think they're wrestlers, they're not talkers. Angle's the whole package. Angle is Angle. But I think Team Angle, a great concept, but should have had a longer run, in my opinion. That to me is the only failure in Team Angle's entire run. It should have lasted longer. So, anyway, that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What was your thoughts on Team Angle? Did you enjoy their run? What was your favourite match from Team Angle's run? Was it the 2-on-3 handicap match at No Way Out 2003? Team Angle versus Los Guerreros at Backlash 2003, or Team Angle versus Eddie Guerrero and Tajiri? And what was your favourite moment from Team Angle's run? And do you agree with what I said? Do you think Team Angle should have had a longer run? And do you feel that they broke up Team Angle far too early? Do you think there was room for a possible expansion with more members added to the group? And do you think Team Angle was a success or a failure? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Wrestling Discussion Series. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.